Okay guys, welcome back to the latest episode of Rearrange Rooms. It's your boy Jay taking you through all of the changes that we've done over the last week. We've got a lot of updates here at this house here because it's been a little while since we did our last video, but we're gonna take you through all the different paint options that we went through and we finally made a choice, which is the one you're looking at right behind me. We're gonna be going through some updates that we did all in the kitchen. We updated some backsplash, we put in some shelves, and we also got some furniture in there. So without further ado, let's go. Okay y'all, we are now in the backyard, and what I love about what we've done so far, we have finally cleaned up this disgusting wall. We had it pressure cleaned. And what's great about pressure cleaning, it gets rid of all the gook and grime and dirt, cleans it all up really nicely for you. Another thing we did, we painted it all white, fresh white coat of paint. Now, it's such a simple add that you can do to make your walls look that much better without having to spend a ton of money, which is I'm all about, right? Always see how you can save money. Another thing, all new Calusia planted all through here. We got some all the way around the house. We're gonna show you that in a second. What I love about Calusia, it will grow into much larger, much wider, taller hedges to give you a complete privacy all the way around your property. Now, this backyard doesn't have a pool, but if someone decides to put a pool in it, having this Calusia will give you ultimate privacy. Okay, something I wanna make sure I talk about is landscaping. Now, I don't think enough people spend the time that it takes, especially when flipping a house, to dedicate to landscaping. That's an energy thing, that's a cost thing, right? Everyone's just looking at their bottom line. But I really believe that's incredibly important to always have a great visual aesthetic on the outside and on the inside of the house. One of those things includes cleaning up all of your underbrush. So this tree, for instance, had so much overgrowth. It was dirt everywhere, there was trash. Some people just don't even pay attention to that. They're just like, I'm flipping a house, I don't have the money, let me just park it. But if you take the time and make it look like something that someone doesn't have to say like, man, I don't want to have to clean that up later, you're doing yourself a favor by doing that. And I truly think you're doing yourself a disservice by not doing these things. So in addition to cleaning up, make sure you get a nice bed of mulch, everything around. Again, it's about visual appeal. I think in total right here you're looking at is maybe about $10 worth of mulch. If you don't have $10 to put into your budget to dedicate around a tree or even along your backyard, you're just spending too much money in other areas. Okay guys, one of the biggest changes that you're gonna see so far in this house has to be the paint job. Now, what I love about this paint is that it complements so nicely against the white porch. The body paint itself is almost like a whitewashed cream. I was at the store literally just going through samples, and if you remember in the last video I said, always make sure you test your samples on the wall itself. You don't wanna just look at it at the store, because what's gonna end up happening is you're gonna buy one sample, or you're not even gonna buy a sample. You're literally just gonna look at the sample, you're gonna say like, hey, sample guy, or a paint guy at whatever store you go to, I want 10 gallons of this. You're gonna put it on your house and you're gonna despise the way it looks, unless you've got a crazy good eye for determining your paint. And even after doing this for a number of years, I still don't have a very good eye. So what I always do is buy little samples, put them on the wall, and then now you decide, okay, 5, 10, 15 gallons, then you know you made the right choice. And for me, I love the choice that I made. Something that we did, we pressure washed the roof, and now the pressure washed roof against the body of the paint itself, the two just complement each other really nicely. And the reason why I did that is because I was trying to decide for the longest what to paint the house. So with every house, I always do a rendering. So here's an example of the rendering I created for this house, and I really feel I nailed it when it comes to the color choice that I wanted to go with versus how it actually turned out in the end. Now I had another option, which was actually my favorite option. I'm gonna show you what that looks like right here. And with that one in particular, it required me to paint the roof. Now with this particular roof, it's a tiled roof, and these tiles have slits that go along the edges of each one of the tiles. Something that my roof guy told me, he's like, Jason, if you wanna do that, no problem. Just know that if you paint your roof, you're actually gonna be sealing all those individual slits. Those slits are what allows the roof to breathe. So I knew I couldn't do that choice. So instead, I went with this one, and let me tell you, I love it. Okay, something I really want to bring up to you guys is what happened, not just here on the paint level, but what's happening down here on the ground level. So one of the things that we did, we ripped out all the plants here because I could not stand them. Now, some people are gonna say, why'd you rip out those plants? There's nothing wrong with them. It's true, there's nothing wrong with those plants, but I just particularly didn't like them. So I'm doing a whole new plant bed here. And the reason why that's also important is because as we were ripping out the plants, here's what we found. A number of broken sprinkler heads everywhere. So what I did, I had my irrigation guy come out, gave me brand new sprinkler heads all throughout this area here. So now when I put the new plants down, I don't have to worry about them not getting enough water. The system will take care of that. Also, getting to be the warm season here in South Florida, and our grass is getting beat up. It's getting torched. So something I probably should have done was had this taken care of a long time ago, but it just didn't even occur to me until I started to do the exterior. And even though it's gonna be too late for me when I go to market to have beautiful green grass, I know that when this house is sold to the homeowner, they're not gonna have to worry about it because the system will be taken care of. Another thing, these columns, I can't remember if we had a shot of it, but I will say this, all of this started to peel because the texturing that they were using on this side of the house just looked terrible. So what I did is I had my stucco guy come out, he repaired this entire system here. Even on the windows, if you guys remember, we had shutters everywhere. Took all that out, repaired all of this, with all that being redone and repainted. Now you have a nice, beautiful exterior, especially once these plants go down. Man, I can't wait to show you guys. Another thing to mention about the exterior here, we had all of the pavers down here below been pressure washed. Now, what's great about the pressure washing of these is it really, again, it's all about color complementary. So between the paint colors, the white on the columns, right? You have the pressure wash pavers, and you also have the pressure wash roof. The three of them now very harmoniously go together. The last piece that's really gonna dial it in is gonna be the landscaping right here. As you can see, my electrician is installing the light. With that light being installed and the plants going down, pressure wash pavers, man, pressure wash pavers, that's a tough one. Pressure wash pavers, body paint, and as well as the pressure wash of the roof itself. All three, all four, all five now coming together is what's really gonna make the front of your yard sing. Why is that important? Is because it comes down to curb appeal. Curb appeal is the reason what's gonna make somebody want to say, I wanna see inside that house. There's nothing more important than when someone pulls up to your property to say that to themselves, because know that your buyer is always gonna be somebody who's looking at the house in totality, not just each individual thing. Some people really believe that, oh, if I just do the kitchen, oh, if I just do the bathroom. No, remember, a renovation and about getting people who are interested, who really have an emotional connection with your house, that say like, I want this, you have to think of the house holistically. And by doing all of these things, you'll get just that. Okay guys, some big changes took place here in the kitchen. Let me talk about some of them right now. One thing, we got the island in. I'm gonna save it for the final reveal so you guys can actually see how it looks like in totality. I do think it's a really big piece that really kind of brings the kitchen together. Had our appliances cleaned because these appliances were purchased by the previous owner. They spent a good amount of money on them, except they just look disgusting. So by paying for a professional cleaning service, they came in, they deep cleaned all of our appliances. Now all that's been taken care of. You're really starting to see the kitchen come together. We got our whitewashed cabinets that have finally been painted. So between the new white cabinets painted, the island, you're starting to see a lot of the kitchen really come together. So on the next one, I'm gonna show you guys exactly how it looks with the island in place and with the light above you. If you see it real quick, take a little quick peek at it. Yes, yes, yes. We finally have our countertop in place. It's taken a little while, but we finally got it done. We also have our backsplash tile that's also been put in. What I love about the countertop as well as the backsplash, both of them are at a great price point. This backsplash in particular, this comes out to about $4 a square foot, which is a really great number. And then this countertop specifically, this comes out to about $3 a square. Between both of them, I'm getting a really good number. Another thing as well, I added this shelf at the top here because I save on not having to put cabinets everywhere. So you'll just have some dishes that are along here. You can also put plants, you can put decorations, you can put all kinds of stuff. I also complemented with this light. I do think this light turned out not favorable. It's not something that I love. But in the next update, I'm actually gonna show you the light that I picked. I'm actually gonna swap it out. I'm gonna save this light. I'm gonna put it at another location because I just don't think there's enough contrast between the white bulb and the white wall. Totally fine. Sometimes I make mistakes like that, but I put them in these videos because I want you to see that nothing is ever perfect. Another thing we did as well, we got our sink in. Now this sink I found on Amazon. I'm gonna show you a link to all the things that I buy in the description, whether it's in this video or in the next one. You guys are gonna have examples of all of that to see. Another thing we did as well, we had all of our appliances cleaned. We had paid for a deep cleaning service because they were disgusting. And with a deep cleaning service, rather than have to swap out all your appliances, you pay about $200 and you get everything clean. It looks nice, it looks newish, but again, we're flipping houses. So if I were to go out and buy a new dishwasher and a new stove and a new microwave and everything else brand new, we'd be spending a ton of money. Small changes, big savings. All right, something I really want to talk about is why I stage these houses. One thing that's really important to know is that as people walk inside your house, again, they cannot visualize a thing. So by taking the time to buy furniture pieces or to hire a staging company to put furniture inside your houses, it's gonna allow someone to step in and be like, oh wow, I could see myself watching TV there. Oh, my family can come and they can eat dinner. These are incredibly important moves because you want people to make an emotional connection with your house. The more of an emotional connection someone makes, the more they'll pull out their wallet and pay you money for it. It's like driving the Corvette, right? Or any other fancy car where you go, it's only got 2 seats in it and it's 200,000 or whatever car it is. Don't quote me, I don't know what a Corvette costs because I'm not a car guy, but I mean that only from the standpoint of it has an emotional connection. Maybe they were a young kid when they first saw a Corvette and they're like, you know what, when I get older and I get money, I'm gonna buy myself a Corvette. There's an emotional tie there, even if it doesn't make financial sense necessarily, right? When you're doing that with these houses, when you're buying furniture and you're staging them, this is exactly what that does. So the process of trying to figure out where you're gonna put things is not as straightforward as I always think it's gonna be, because for the longest, this is actually where the dining room was, right? If you guys remember in the previous video, the dining room was right here in this location. Now, it's not the farthest from it, but it's still in this general area. I just moved the dining table down a little bit further. The reason why I moved it down is because I found that with the dining table here, here's what happens. You have a giant space of nothing. So what would you do in this giant space of nothing other than cartwheels? Well, at least by shifting the dining table over, it now makes it a little bit more of a centerpiece of the house and not just something that someone shoves into the corner. So what I actually did with that corner, I purchased this sideboard. What I love about this sideboard, this was built in the 1920s, is absolutely stunning. And I got it for $300. Insane. These things easily go for $1,000, more than $1,000. But I purchased it from someone who was just looking to move on from it. They were just trying to get out of the area. So they're like, you know what, I'm gonna sell it at a discount. And man, what a steal I got this for, because this is one of those pieces that I do not sell with the house because I know how hard these are to come by. The last time I had one of these was about 2 years ago. I sold it with the house in West Palm, and I could kick myself for selling it because it was something that I really love dearly. And this to me is gonna be another one of those pieces. As I'm picking a lot of these pieces though, I'm trying to figure out where I'm gonna place it. How's it gonna go? How's it gonna match with everything? Another thing I do, I pick up a lot of artwork. This one in particular, I love because it just has I don't know, it's got a level of drama to it that I feel just kind of went with the house. The colors are really muted, which is something that's really important to me because I don't like things being super poppy. When I look at a house and I'm looking at the artwork inside of it and what to put together, I never want anything to just be screaming for attention. Something like this is very powerful because it's just like a moment with this lady who posed for a drawing of some kind. But even just the mark over her eyes, I just feel that it just spoke to me. And because it spoke to me, I want to make sure that I include that as part of the artwork for this house. Another thing, here's another image that I found. I actually found this at another big box store. And what's great about this one, it just felt like someone drew it with a crayon. Now, a lot of the artwork that I picked, and like the artwork in general, for a lot of people, it's all subjective. What's gonna go together, what's not. A lot of it is taking time to develop your sense of art and what styles you like, but also how do those colors that are inside all these art pieces match with the interior of the home. So as you go through it and as you guys start working on houses, don't beat yourself up because you're like, I like art, but they don't look good together. That's okay. Remember that you're doing this to stage houses. So it's all about getting things that are cohesive and work as a whole with all the furniture that you bought. So I pick a lot of furniture that I don't know that I'm necessarily gonna use every time. I've had this laying inside my house, not laying, but standing inside my house for the longest, trying to figure out, could it work here? Could it work in another space? I just recently picked up this side table as well as this plant holder. Are they gonna be used? I really don't know. So a lot of it for me is as I go through these design choices, how am I gonna create something that has that emotional connection, right? And to me, buying furniture, bringing them in, thinking of what rug I'm gonna use, all of it plays together. I already know what rug I'm going with because it's actually supposed to be arriving today. Can't wait to show it to you guys. But with that rug going down, I know these colors all play off of it really well. I just think that when it comes to picking furniture, don't beat yourself up if you don't quite get it right on your first try. Sometimes what ends up happening is you'll buy something and you go, that really doesn't fit there. And that's totally okay, right? It's fine to take furniture out and save it for another space if you decide to do what I'm doing. But if you just decide to go with somebody who just stages houses for you, that's great too. Just know that the most important thing is not the individual pieces that you pick, but the fact that you're staging the house for the people when they're buying. Okay guys, that wraps up this week's episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you guys tune in next week so you can see all the changes and get closer to that final episode. Is it gonna be one more? Is it gonna be two more? You guys are gonna see in the very next one. And I also think you guys are also gonna get a really good taste of what it looks like putting all the pieces together, not just the furniture, not just the wallpaper, not just the paint, but literally the front, the back, the garden, inside, the outside, how it all comes together to very homogeneously make a finished product that you sell to buyers. So without further ado, make sure you guys follow me on Instagram and right here on YouTube at J Abrams, and know that this is your channel for all things design and real estate. So stay tuned.